Welcome, we have collected 5 of the most interesting events that took place on the 24th of February in history.
On February 24, 2022, Russia launched a full-scale invasion of Ukraine.
This invasion actually began with the occupation of Crimea in 2014, after which Russia armedly attacked other parts of Ukraine. This aggression destroyed the system of collective security that was established after the Second World War.
The regime ruling Russia is known as racism because it combines the ideas of fascism, Bolshevism, Nazism and Eurasianism, revanchism and xenophobia, covering its pseudo-ideology with orthodoxy and the greatness of Russian culture.
Ukraine is now waging a heroic struggle against Russian aggression. The Ukrainian people demonstrate their will to defeat the enemy by joining forces in the ranks of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, the National Guard of Ukraine and the volunteer movement, as well as on diplomatic, informational, historical, and other fronts.
February 24th is the lottery birthday. The first recorded public lottery was held on this day in 1466 in the city of Bruges, Belgium.
The lottery was organized by the widow of the famous artist Jan van Eyck, who wanted to raise funds to support the poor and needy residents of the city. The lottery was a huge success. All tickets were sold out long before the draw.
Winning numbers were chosen by drawing tickets from a box, making this one of the earliest recorded examples of a random lottery drawing.
Over time, lotteries have evolved into a popular form of gambling, and many governments around the world now run their own lotteries to generate revenue from government programs and services. Despite its long history, lotteries remain controversial in some circles, with critics claiming they can be addictive.
On February 24, 1607, the first opera, Orpheus, premiered at the Ducal Palace in Mantua, Italy. The opera was written by Claudio Monteverdi, based on the Greek myth of Orpheus and Eurydice.
Monteverdi was a pioneer in the development of opera, and Orpheus was his first major work in this genre. The opera was a huge success and helped establish the popularity of opera as an art form in Europe.
The opera tells the story of a musician who travels to the underworld to save his beloved Eurydice. It features complex vocal solos, intricate choral arrangements, and rich orchestration.
Orpheus was a groundbreaking work in the history of music, and it paved the way for the development of opera as a major art form in Europe. Today, it is performed and admired by audiences all over the world.
February 24, 1881 marked the beginning of construction of the Panama Canal, a project that would take decades to complete. The idea of building a canal through the narrow Isthmus of Panama has been debated for centuries.
The French began construction of the canal, but the project soon ran into serious difficulties, including disease, difficult terrain, and financial difficulties.
In 1904, the United States took over the project and made significant improvements to the construction process. They worked to eliminate mosquito-borne diseases by draining swamps and improving sanitation. The Panama Canal was finally completed in 1914.
The canal greatly reduced travel times and costs for ships traveling between the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans, and today it remains an important part of international trade.
On February 24, 1942, the Voice of America radio station made its first official broadcast.
The station was established by the United States government to provide news and information to people in countries where the press was censored or restricted. The first broadcast was in German and was broadcast from New York to Europe.
During World War II, VOA played a critical role in countering Nazi propaganda, and after the war, it continued to broadcast news and information to countries around the world.
Today, VOA is part of the U.S. Global Media Agency and broadcasts in more than 40 languages, reaching approximately 280 million people worldwide. VOA remains an important source of news and information for people in many countries.
Thanks for watching. We are waiting for you in our next video. If you want to send, thank the authors and finance the development of the channel, there are links to several possible options for this in the description. Goodbye.